Okay, here we go. So the deal is we're on StreamYard again, so there's no comments, but I found a workaround. I can't throw them on the screen, but now I can see them. I can see your comments. Lindsay says, hello, what's up? Mumple, evening. Dylan, happy Thanksgiving, Lindsay. And Gio getting to see. Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, fuck off. Anyways, Thanksgiving, did you eat any turkey there, Michael, or how you feeling?
Healthy household, so we ate like Brussels sprouts and like coconut flour pumpkin pie and shit.
Nice. No turkey?
Ham.
Okay.
I don't like turkey.
I mean, hey, if it's no turkey, it's going to be ham, right? You don't like turkey?
It's
What's the matter
gross.
with you, huh?
Eating birds seems kind of fucked up, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, so this show, if you guys haven't caught on yet, 3 Hot, 3 Not, we think we'll probably be able to pull it off. Maybe weekly during the season, because there's going to be lots to discuss, to talk about. But this will be just a way to kind of recap week to week what's happening, what's hot and what's not. Chicken? How about chicken? Flames fans wants to know.
No, thank you. I grew up on a farm,
no,
and
thank you.
we grew up on a farm, and we did chickens all the time. And like once you've like killed a lot of chickens, you don't want to eat chicken.
Yeah. Gabranson for Norris, says Dylan. Hunter, let's go. What's up? Katie's back on. All right, let's get her going. What do you want to start with, hot or not?
Well, I mean, we may as well, let's start with not. Let's end on a positive note today. I always like to start with the bad news. So,
all right. Coming in at number 3, not hot. He's so he was on the power rankings last week for not hot. He's still on the power rankings. Eric Branson makes the team.
Well, many of the things we complain about are always more complained about in the manner in which for what they represent. I mean, this guy, if he makes the team, that's fine. But the fact that he makes $2 million and is probably going to play a lot, that's what bugs me,
The fact that you're paying basically $8 million for both Lucic and Gabranson, right? It's not the fact that they're on the team. They're not completely useless. Although some nights you have to beg to differ and argue that, but it's like you said, it's the amount, it's the dollar allocation that these guys make. Okay, how much easier would it be to make room for a guy like Jack Eichel if you didn't have $8 million tied up with Lucic, a fourth liner, and Gabranson, a seventh defenseman? Why? Why are you paying so much money for this?
Yeah, that's my question all the time is why? Why do you pay him $2 million? Like, if you want Eric Branson on your team, fine, but don't pay him $2 million. Like, have you watched Derek Ryan play in the preseason? Oh, dude looks great in Edmonton. Our little Mormon, bless his little Mormon heart. The guy looks great. He's scored a bunch of goals. He's a good player, and like the Flames are like, no, we don't want to pay him $1.25 million. We want Eric Branson for $2 million. The $2 million it just blows my mind. I mean, even if you think about it, like if the Flames, which I mean, I think a lot of us are thinking is like, holy shit, that deal looks kind of rough. They should probably try to make a trade soon. Okay, well, it kind of hinders your ability to make trades, and you're paying a guy fucking $2 million. They got all these guys who have to go through waivers and shit. So I don't care if he's on the team. It's just he shouldn't be making that much money, and I hope to God Daryl Sutter doesn't play him very often.
Yeah, look, we got a good taste of this in preseason. What game was it? It was as a second game against the Canucks when Gabranson fights McEwen and literally kicks the shit out of him. So we know we can fight. We know if things get rough, he's probably gonna beat the shit out of some people. And as long as we're winning, then beating people up feels amazing. But if we're losing and he's a cause of that, then you're just sitting there on the other side of the fence like, why are we paying this fucker?
If we're losing and he's taking instigator penalties and putting the Flames down on a 5-on-3 and you're losing, that's really fucking annoying.
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully, it's more the former than the latter. But that's always a slippery slope, right? When you start paying mega bucks just for guys that can fight, ridiculous. Okay, Sun and Stars says, "Hey, what's up? What's up, Sun and Stars? Iguodala's back on. Hunter, shocker. Branson's probably related to Brad," says Farseed. Yeah, I mean, follow the money, right? You
He's
can
way
pay
too
me.
he's way too handsome and related to Brad. Okay, the guy sucks at hockey. He's a good looking guy.
Who's better looking? Eric Branson? I shouldn't. This is an obvious one. Or TJ Brody.
Oh man, Brody is really good looking. I
I
think,
know.
isn't
I
he?
know. TJ's like your low key man crush, right?
I mean, it's not even low key at this point. Dude is good. Dude is a handsome man.
Okay, Lucic, sneaky good looking. Who's better looking, Lucic or Gabranson?
Go Branson.
Really? Okay. Any ladies on there, or I guess guys too? Who's better looking, Gabranson or Lucic?
Lucic is he's alright. For a guy who has like a broken nose and shit, he's
For a guy who has a hunchback, he's pretty good looking.
yeah, well put.
All right. Wishful thinking, says Kenneth. I think he's talking about Branson beating people up all year.
Well, and
KT Barn.
that he's not going to play too, right? Like he'll play.
Katie Barnes says Branson's better looking. Why isn't Matthew Tkachuk captain yet? Good question, Vlado.
Shit, if I know. Because they're too. They don't have the wherewithal to go for it, to jump, because they want to dip their little toes into the water.
It's the Calgary fucking Flames. That's why.
Like, do you guys remember? Maybe a lot of you are too young to remember, but I mean, like, here's like our captains of the '90s after Theo Fleury left. It was like, shit, on Todd Simpson, Steve Smith was our captain. Steve Smith, Dave Lowry, like good guy,
Dave Lowry.
And then Conroy, and then it was Iginla. So it was like a 20-year gap between Nieuwendyk, Fleury, and then Iginla. So it's probably going to be more Steve Smith shit, you know? And I know everybody loves Backlund and shit, but come on. Do what you know you should do and make Chuck the captain already. Let's stop screwing around.
And Schrader wants to know, what are the odds they announce a captain before the season, though? They're not going to do it.
I don't even know at this point. Here's why.
It'll be at the end of the season for next season. That's my prediction.
Yeah, like I don't think they're going to do it.
And Sutter's poo-pooed the idea so hard that it's not going to happen.
And you know what? I do kind of appreciate Daryl Sutter. He's like, he doesn't give a shit who's the captain. So I do kind of appreciate that, actually.
Tieman's on.
Tiemann, what's up?
Tiemann says Coleman is good looking.
Yeah, he's a good Texas boy for sure.
Okay, the whole captain situation is a good segue for our not hot number 2. Most people will put this in the hot category, but
most people aren't us.
How much it pains me.
Most people aren't us, and most people are like over it. I'm still not. We're still not over it. I'm still.
I will probably never be over this.
Still pissed off.
On my dying bed, I'll be cursing Tree Living for losing your captain, your best defenseman,
for nothing.
I didn't think that I was going to feel that way. I honestly didn't. It really took me by surprise how much this fucking hurt when Seattle got this guy. I think you were in the same boat, right? I did not expect to feel so betrayed. I did really.
Oh no, I was totally okay with it. I knew it was going to happen, and then when it happened, I was furious. And I mean, like straight up, this piss. I'm more bitter about this than I ever was about Jerome McGinley getting traded, because that was like, holy shit, about time, right? Gio is like you said, still one of your best players, and you fucking gave up for nothing. So I'm still not over it. I'm not over it. I will hold this grudge for a really long time.
Yeah, Tiemann says it perfectly. There's no organization that wouldn't make Chucky the captain, except for the one we cheer for.
Oh, totally. Oh, who's the next clear-cut leader? Who's
Oh yeah, we need a total change in direction apparently, but that doesn't include a new leadership.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is go back to May. Brad's tree. It's not the postseason press conference. It's like the one during those games where they were playing and the playoffs were going on. And it was just awful. And he's talking about, nope, we really need to change. We have to change. We have to change. There will be change. We need a major change.
There will be changes.
Okay, then make Tkachuk the captain for shit's sake.
Nothing really changed.
Nothing changed.
Okay, so let's go with a not hot number 1. Again, some people might have this in the hot category, but you know what's well enough. Eichel. Hey, we're still in on Eichel. Still, even though we have 0 cap left, Brad Treliving already spent the final $10 million on plugs. I don't see how you make this happen. What would it realistically take if the Eichel thing was still on the table? You know they want futures. They're going to want Andrew Mangiapane. That's what you think?
Well, the only reason I said Mangiapane earlier was because, like, okay, let's say you add Jack Eichel and his $10.5 million to your salary cap. You have 3 big contracts you got to pay out this summer in Gaudreau, Tkachuk, Mangiapane. So you're not keeping all 3 of those guys and adding Jack Eichel to your team. So somebody who you could trade in a Jack Eichel trade? Buffalo doesn't want Gaudreau. I mean, maybe they want Tkachuk, but you're probably not trading Tkachuk. So I mean, like, shit, guys, are you willing to give up Andrew Mangiapane and Dylan Dubé and a first and Coronado for Jack Eichel? But the thing is, here's the thing, though, is that they're not in on Jack Eichel. You fucking know they're not. You know that it's just Brad Treliving and his performative. I'm doing stuff, guys. Look, he's doing his magic trick sleight of hand. It's like the team sucks and hasn't changed. Look over here. I'm still pretending to be in on Jack. Like, you know, when Anaheim gets him, and it'll be like the news conference will be like, Calgary was right there, just that close.
Oh, yeah, right down.
Guys, just that close. They just came right down, and Brad will be on his press conference. But, well, there's deals you can make, and it just came down to it. End of the day, you can't make the deal, and end of the day, it's just at the end of the day, and I believe in this group. So, like, I don't. Sure, maybe we're in on Jack Eichel. I don't believe it till I see that shit.
Yeah, 100%.
And again, like, how do you do this if they want futures and you got to move out $10.5 million? How do you do that?
And exactly, and then, well, you would have to do like what, 2 salary dumps at least.
You'd have to. Oh yeah,
it's like Backlund and or Monahan, but you're not going to 2 centers.
2 of Lucic, Backlund, Monahan would have to go somehow,
and they don't want them, so you got to move them somewhere else. Like,
yeah,
of course he's been working on it for 2 years, can't figure it out.
Yeah, like the dude can't even.
You're going to see what Anaheim what they give up for Eichel, and then you're going to be like, oh my.
It'll be like, oh, Anaheim gives up like Adam Henrique and retained 50% salary and like a second and a first, and they got him because like Buffalo just wanted to get rid of him or some shit.
Yeah. Zion says this also means Gio ain't coming back next year because he's the captain. Oddly enough, though, they wouldn't make Matthew Tkachuk the captain and follow the same premise. Hey,
I'm sick of that argument of like, oh well, he's not going to sign next year, so how can you make him your captain if he's not? Like, how about you give him the captaincy and he'll be more inclined to sign, you dumbass.
Human relations 101. So you give some responsibility, they want to fucking return the favor. Fuck. We need guys that hate to lose. Flames would have to force Monahan's contract into the trade. Yep. Brad called to say hello.
Hello.
Katie Barnes says they cannot wait for Flames Twitter to stop talking about Eichel. Seriously, this is what, been like 18 months straight now?
I mean, I was on the Eichel shit for like maybe 2 days just for fun.
As soon as people come to grips and are like, there's no way True Living is going to pull this off, then it's like 48 hours later, some other fucking news report comes out. Oh, Flames are still in on it. Like, how is it 2 teams left? What could Brad possibly put? What package could he put together?
Well, and that's the thing that blows my mind. If it is 2 teams left, what are you doing, Brad? Like, do it. Like that's what infuriates me. There's like, hey, it's gotten to this point. The guy that you need is like right there. Apparently, there's only one other team that is in on this shit, and you still can't figure it out. Come on.
Eamon says Brad Treliving is close to acquiring McDavid at this point.
No shit. Like, I actually kind of feel bad for people, and watch, they'll go get him now. But like, if you actually think Brad Treliving is going to get Jack Eichel,
Brad loves coming.
Sorry, I feel bad for you.
Brad almost acquired God himself. The fact he didn't want to trade Valimaki for Stone should say enough about the type of GM he is. Man, that looks so terrible right now.
And you know what? Here's the other thing with that too is like, hey, I'm sorry this is turning into a we shit on Brad Treliving fest, but like, I find statements like that always like a little bit disingenuous. It's like, so you're telling me that like that seems to me like him just finding like an easy way out, right? Like, oh well, I wanted to. I would have done it, but I didn't want to give up our bet. It shields him from more criticism because it's like, see, it's not that I couldn't get the trade done. It's that I want to beat this team to be good in the future. I don't want to sell mortgage our future right now. And everyone's like, oh yeah, really smart, responsible decision. When in reality, you couldn't get it done, and that's all that matters. You didn't do what you were supposed to do.
I think, is it Wesley? Shit. Wesley? Hey, girl, how you do, babe? Make Zadorov or Branson the captain or Stone, I guess. Eh? Pick your...
Team Chaos, go for it. I mean, at this... I wouldn't mind Zadorov.
Colton's never been less excited for a season, and that's about after watching a year without fans. Diener said needed soup, got milk. You see that carcass? Okay, good. I love it. This is good. A lot of Brad
Oh, man.
ripping. This is what makes for entertaining discussion, folks. I'm gonna hate the name Brad if we lose Kachuk next summer. I will legitimately be livid. Yeah, same boat. Jeff Skinner is the key to the Flames Cup in my dreams. Buffalo's got a whole 9.8 mil of that salary, though. Hey, Buffalo, you could probably make them do that, eh?
You could if you could get Skinner at like some kind of retention and get I don't know, that's a pretty bad contract. Actually,
Would you take on Skinner?
I don't think so.
To get Eichel if you had to trade Skinner for Monahan and
there's like no
Eichel?
way. No, sorry. Because then you'd lose like Gaudreau and Kachuk probably. Like you'd swap out Gaudreau and Kachuk and Monahan for Eichel and Skinner. No thanks.
Since Nashville is in a rebuild, we should bring in trade for Forsberg.
How about 2 years ago? How about we do that like in the summer?
Yeah. How about last year when Nashville GM said anybody's on the table? And then it was time to shop around and he was available. Then
how about when Arvidsson they had to dump him because the expansion draft and he went to LA for like a second. How about that? Why weren't we in on that?
Okay, let's see if it's possible and see if we can actually finish on a high note. Let's get to our hots. I don't know if it's possible, folks. All right, hot number 3, coming at 3. The final preseason game against Winnipeg to round out the preseason. The team actually looked pretty good. It was a 3-1 win. You go up 2-0, goal by Mangiapane, goal by
Monahan, baby.
Oh, that was disgusting, that goal.
That was so classic, Monahan. Whew.
Who passed that?
Lindholm. Okay, so see,
Lindholm
I don't know.
Apparently has some fucking.
Oh yeah.
Like he's not just a finisher, man. This guy can fucking play.
Well, that's a bug because they always try that play when Kachuk is down low. You know, when they do that high, low, high play to Monahan, but it's usually on the other side of the net, or Kachuk is there with his left-hand shot, and they force that play like every power play, and it never fucking works. It works when you do it like that, when you're in close proximity to the net. Like Monahan's right in the lip of the crease. They always try that, and they force it to him. He's like way high in the slot, and it never works. So I hope they execute that play a little bit better, like they did there.
And then you see the patented It was Johnny to Johnny to Lindholm with that like quick. It's not even a one-time shot. He just corrals it and goes short side.
Dude,
fuck that. That's a patented 1-2 punch, eh?
Johnny Gaudreau looks good, man.
I'm sitting there watching that, and I'm saying to myself, how can you split these guys up?
How can you split specifically Lindholm and Gaudreau, man?
Right now, they look fire together.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know if they're going to try the Lindholm-Kachuk Coleman thing, but like, if you look at the two players who have, because everybody go, oh, Monahan, Gaudreau, right? But it's really Lindholm and Gaudreau who have worked really well together over the past 3 years. Both of them have been okay apart from each other, but they've been better together over the last 3 years. Like every time they play together, the numbers are way better. So shit, man, I don't know how you split up Gaudreau and Lindholm at this point, dude. They look dialed in.
When two players are going like that, like you said, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Somebody's asking with Coleman out the first game, who slots in the top 6?
Well, I think they're going to run maybe like what they were doing against Winnipeg. So the purple Gatorade line and then the modified 3M like with Dubé or something. I don't know.
So it'll be Backlund then.
They're going to just go like Old Faithful. Lindholm with Monahan and Gaudreau, and Backlund with Monge and Kachuk.
Yeah, so Elias goes to the wing, and then Monty and Backlund are your first 1-2 Cs. But I'm sitting here thinking too, like if you're looking at options, if Monty and Johnny are going to play together, what about Monty, Johnny, and Coleman? Or if you want to keep Johnny and Lindholm together, how about Johnny, Lindholm, and Coleman? And then you go Backlund and Kachuk have always been good. Then you could reunite the second version of the 3M line because we already know.
Yeah.
Chucky, Backlund, and Mangiapane are pretty deadly.
Well, I understand like all the line like, and I think Daryl is going to be like bringing out the line blender a lot more than we have been used to with Ward and Bill Peters and shit. So I expect a lot of different combinations on a lot of different nights. But I do still think like the Flames have two examples of two lines that work like exceptionally well together, being the Lindholm, Monahan, Gaudreau line and the 3M line. The 3M line to me, like Backlund, Kachuk, Mangiapane, all three of those guys have always like they were lights out in 2019, 2020. Like
Yeah.
the best, one of the best lines in the league for 20 games. They were great, and they've always been great. And like you said, Kachuk plays better with Backlund. Mangiapane seems to play better with Backlund. Backlund seems to be always way better when he's playing with Kachuk. So those three guys, I don't know. I'd like to see them play together more often than not this year.
Yeah. Well, you've been saying the wild card in all this is Monahan, right? Because if
Yeah.
Monahan is not going to be back up to snuff, how do you not move him down to 3C? Backlund and Monahan could be swapping roles throughout the season in terms of 2C, 3C. And if that happens, then I think you got to start juggling the top six altogether, right? Just kind of what those lines were thrown out there. You got to figure out what makes the most sense to utilize the most.
Well, it is crazy how much it hinges on Monahan, because if Monahan is like his old self, then the Flames top nine is pretty deadly. Like if Sean Monahan's 30 goals, Sean Monahan, then that's a really strong top nine. If Sean Monahan is what he's been the last 2 years, which is a shitty below replacement player who can't score and can't do anything else, then that top nine looks pretty meh all of a sudden. So it's a lot depends on old Sean.
Okay, Teeman says Richardson on the IR, so the Godden it's Godden season, baby. This brings us to number 2. Shillington, more notably, and Godden, though, they both make the team. The roster's finalized today. Shillington had a great camp. Godden was also pretty good. Walker Dewar gets sent down. I guess you want to go with who you know better. They know Godden better, but we'll see some more Godden to start off the season at least.
Yeah, I thought he and Shillington obviously did everything he needed to earn a spot. And I thought Godden totally was way well more deserving than pretty much anybody on the bubble. Like he was very good. And he's older too. Like he doesn't need to develop in the AHL. So I'm glad. I hope he sticks around. I mean, I think he has way more upside in a fourth line role than like Brad Richards. So I hope we see more of Glenn Gaudden than Brad Richardson.
Well, here's the thing: if you're Glenn Gaudden,
this is it for his career, pretty much. He's got a golden chance here.
These first 5 games of the season, maybe you're going to get 5, maybe it's less, but at least 3 or 5 games, you would think, if Richardson's on the IR, he has to have an impact. He's got to score some goals. He's got to make a case for himself. Oh, Tree Living's on. Hey, Tree Living, how's it going? But then, like you're saying, Shillington had a great camp. Do you think he starts game 1? Because Sutter's already said it sounds like he's going pairings over players. So if Shillington's making game 1, that means Branson's in the lineup too, instead of Valimaki Stone.
Yeah, I mean,
what pairing is he going to pick?
He's probably going to have Branson and Shillington. I don't know. Like, I would be stunned if Yuso's not playing, but at the same time, like Daryl has not been particularly impressed with Valimaki from the sounds of it. So I also wouldn't be super surprised. It'd be weird if Valimaki's sitting in the first game. I don't know. Like for me, I'd be going Valimaki on the third LD and Shillington as his partner, and then rolling Hanifin, Anderson, Zadorov, Tanev. I don't know what you do with Zadorov at this point. Like. Shit, man, I'd rather have Valimaki over Zadorov like 100 times out of 100 right now. So I don't know. For me, I would go Valimaki, Shillington. They're probably going to go Shillington, Branson. I don't know, dude. It's going to be weird.
And Schrader saying, is RD just that slow or is just Shillington very quick? I think it's both.
It's definitely both.
You know what? While we're on the topic, though, we got to give Rasmus Anderson some props. He had a hell of a game.
He was great.
Because up until that point, he looked like absolute ass.
Well, he plays way better with Noah Hanifin, it seems. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know why he can't play with anybody else. He plays way better with Noah Hanifin, and I don't know if that's because Hanifin can actually skate with the puck. I don't know if it's Hanifin is a competent defender, but he always has played better. he's played his best hockey with Noah Hannafin, so keep them together would be my opinion. If you want to maximize what Rasmus Anderson's doing, like honestly, that would be what I would start with. Like, cause shit, dude, like I know Tanev is the best defenseman on this team, but you got to pressure cook Rasmus. I think you got to see what you really have in Anderson and Hannafin, because if you're gonna have success this year, those guys need to be top notch. If you can push them to be your top pairing, that would be ideal. In an ideal world, Anderson and Hannafin are both good enough that they can be your top pairing.
Yeah, but would they be? Because then you have Tanev and Zadorov, which would be like the team's best shutdown pair.
You could have them be your shutdown pair, yeah.
Depending on who you're matching up against and what you want to put out there, right? I mean, Tanev and Zadorov, you're not getting any offensive contribution.
Well, shit, Shillington looked good with Tanev too. Like I would have no hesitation putting Shillington with Tanev. So
yeah, well, Darryl would though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So hot number one. Does it actually, for me, it really feels like this team is actually prepared for game one. I'm not going to say they're going to win, because you'd have to be better than Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers, which usually like to start the season on a high note. So game one's going to be it's going to be tough, man. They're going to really need to be prepared. But I think Edmonton plays before that, right? We don't play till Saturday. I'm sure Edmonton plays before that. I don't know. Do you feel like this team is prepared for once?
Oh yeah. It feels like they've been preparing for this since the first game after Jeff Ward was fired. It's like they've been in preparation mode for like a year and a half. Because I mean, like, do you remember all the turmoil at the beginning of last year with Ward? It was like, what is this guy talking about? It was like, where's Sam Bennett going to play? Oh, center. He's playing as center. And it was like, and then all of a sudden he's in the fourth line wing and then up to the shithouse doghouse. It was like all these weird things that kept going wrong and weird reactions to stuff. And I mean, even the year previous when Bill Peters was like fucking around and like they sucked and nothing was going right. And you just felt like you had no trust in anybody. At the very least, you kind of feel like what Daryl's been trying to do and instill in these guys might start coming to fruition on Saturday night. And if it doesn't, he's going to beat their asses into shape type thing. Like, you know that it's like Daryl said when he took over the team, it's like good isn't good enough anymore. We're setting a standard for this team. It's going to be different. That's kind of what it feels like. It's like, hey, not just okay isn't good anymore. And if they're okay, if they suck on Saturday night, like, there's going to be a response from the coach. So I feel a little bit confident, more so than I have in the past two seasons.
So Edmonton plays Vancouver Wednesday. And then I think, no, they don't play again until Saturday.
The dumbest shit ever. Who makes these schedules? So I got to sit here and start watching hockey tomorrow, and I can't watch the Flames play till Saturday.
Yeah, ridiculous, right? Hey, you're probably going to watch Edmonton, Vancouver, though. Those are the only other teams I'm interested in watching. But just so you guys know, if you're not aware, if you haven't listened to the podcast, the longest opening day losing streak in major North American professional sports. Number one across, this is including 7 leagues: NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB, MLS, Women's NBA, and the NWHL. Oh, and the National Lacrosse League as well. Across 8 leagues, the Calgary Flames hold the longest losing day streak in North American professional sports. And it's not even fucking close. So the next closest is, did Indianapolis win their first? Who watches the NFL? Did the Indianapolis Colts win their first game this season?
Because if they didn't, they're the next.
If they didn't, they'll be at 8. And the Flames will probably be at 12 by the end of Saturday night, because we're sitting at 11.
It's messed up, dude. Like the last
Colts
time
lost.
The last time they won the last time they won a season opener was October 1st, 2009 against the Vancouver Canucks. Brandon Prust scored the game-winning goal, assisted by Frederick Sjostrom and Eric Nystrom, your boy.
Eric Nystrom. Wow.
Eric Nystrom. Your boy, Eric Nystrom.
That's, like, you look back to when we had these players, like, holy shit, that was a while ago. They haven't won a fucking game opening.
Daryl was still the GM then. Daryl was still the GM.
Okay, so the Colts lost, so that's good. If the Colts lose and the Flames can pull out a win, watch them go to overtime and lose, eh? That's what will happen. We're going to lose in overtime.
Shootout
it
goal
right now.
overturned. Some fucking thing with McDavid gets his shootout goal overturned.
Yeah, Drysdale come down, break a stick, and still score.
Yeah.
Schustrom rated and then went ghost. Colts lost. Okay, yeah, that's embarrassing. So yeah, if you didn't know, now you know. Hopefully, the Colts can be the biggest losers in all of sports by the end of the week, and not us.
Just
All right.
just one last thing. I just saw Jim Gaudreau just tweeted. He said he thinks Johnny would make a great captain. And you know what? I kind of fucking think that would be sweet. Just like wouldn't that be cool? Johnny Gaudreau, he's got married now. He's like mature and shit. Everybody loves him.
It's funny because he gets no accolades for leadership, eh?
Yeah, like he like
he was probably the captain of all his teams prior to the NHL, but because he's small, he can't be a captain, I guess, eh?
right. Like he's small and really good. He can't be the captain. Like he'd probably be great. You know, Johnny. Everybody loves him.
He's probably too nice, though, eh?
Yeah, he's too nice. He could never deal with that shit.
Although apparently that's what this organization.
But that's what they want. So it would fit. Nice guys. It would fit perfectly.
God forbid you should have someone holding somebody accountable in the room.
Hey? Let's all just get along, guys.
Guys, can't be right every night. Can't. Let's all hold hands. Eric Francis would have had conniption fit.
Oh yeah, that would be even more incentive to make him captain. Oh man,
he would probably kill himself, eh?
That'd be amazing.
Him killing himself?
No. Eric Francis' reaction to Johnny Gaudreau being made captain.
Clarify.
Johnny Gaudreau is such. He's not captain. He's not captain. He's not Dale Sutter guy. He can never lead. He'll never win. Not captain material. He'll never lead a team to a championship.
Not captain material.
It's like, can you imagine talking about any other like Hobie Baker award winners? Like Francis just shits on him all the time. I don't get it. Like, whatever.
Oh, Henry says he needs a Gaudreau impersonation before we jump off.
Well, yeah. I think he needs to be captain.
Okay, yeah. Let's hear your thoughts. Should you be the captain? Make an argument for yourself, John.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Monty could be really good. Yeah. Yeah. I love Calgary. I love it here. Yeah, I'd love to be captain, but yeah, I think yeah.
All right, T-Man, we're going to be recording probably tomorrow, I think.
We'll see if something happens.
Podcast either Wednesday or Thursday. Let's close it out. Give us a Sean Monahan impression, Mikey, and we're going to jump. We'll see you guys on another live probably by the end of next week. Sunday, probably, post-game. Unless it's something unbelievable happens and we have to do it right after the game, but most likely Sunday. All right, Sean, are you looking forward to the season? Give us your thoughts here.
Well, yeah, what happens is you look forward to the season and you do what you can do, and what doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens before the season. So on October 16th, it's just like, yeah, and that's when it starts is October 16th. So that's when it starts.